For most of human prehistory, a wide river or a massive lake meant one thing: a dead end. To cross meant fighting a turbulent force of nature that we simply were not equipped to survive. Early human communities were confined by the water. You could only forage and expand as far as the nearest riverbank. Someone realized that a fallen tree didn't sink, and more importantly, it could support the weight of a person without going under. By burning and scraping away the interior of a massive log, early humans created the dugout canoe. This was subtractive engineering. Removing the heavy wood from the center maximized buoyancy, while leaving a dry pocket for a passenger. Manipulating a piece of wood to float with purpose allowed us to reach the far bank for the first time. We were no longer restricted to our birth shores, expanding our reach from a few square miles to entire regions. In the Bronze Age, human expansion centralized around calm, predictable rivers like the Nile. These green ribbons cutting through harsh deserts became the primary hubs of early society. River valleys allowed for explosive agricultural growth, but a massive surplus of grain creates a logistical problem. You cannot move tons of harvested wheat or building stone in a small, hollowed-out log. Shipbuilders stopped hollowing out single trees and started building vessels piece by piece. They bound together tight bundles of reeds and constructed wide wooden barges. This ancient Egyptian funerary model shows exactly how these constructed vessels were engineered. By building outward, they created an elongated, flat-bottomed hull that could support the weight of heavy cargo and multiple crew members, while still navigating very shallow river waters. Because these boats could haul tax grain to central storehouses and move the heavy stone needed for royal monuments, a single administration could finally oversee an entire river valley. The boat physically fused a string of independent villages into a centralized kingdom. A river generally flows in a predictable direction. The open ocean is a different environment, where chaotic, multi-directional swells attack from every side. The Polynesians faced the task of navigating the vast Pacific Ocean to reach remote, scattered island chains. The physics of the ocean present a fatal problem for traditional boats. When lateral ocean swells hit a standard narrow hull from the side, the vessel will lose its center of gravity and instantly capsize. The engineering solution was lateral stabilization. By attaching an outrigger, a secondary pontoon extending off the side of the main boat, the weight is distributed over a much wider surface area. The outrigger acts as a permanent counterweight, holding the vessel upright against heavy lateral waves. By solving the capsize problem, this specific design enabled a massive maritime migration. A single culture successfully traveled thousands of miles of open water, connecting the remote islands of the Pacific. Over in the Mediterranean, the geography was tight, rocky, and highly contested. Empires like the Phoenicians and the Greeks were competing for resources and territory in a crowded maritime theater. Surviving here required a structural leap: the keel. Builders laid down a heavy timber spine along the bottom center of the hull, giving the ship a strong structural core. A solid keel meant ships could be built larger without snapping in rough waves. The Greek trireme utilized this strong spine to support hundreds of rowers, turning the ship into a high-speed vessel capable of ramming enemy fleets. These deep-keeled galleys served two roles. They were secure cargo holds for international trade, and they functioned as floating fortresses to assert naval dominance. The Mediterranean became a high-speed highway. As these ships moved wine, olive oil, and soldiers between ports, they also moved currency, alphabets, and architectural styles across 3 different continents. Water eventually changed from an impassable wall into a bridge. Today, the surface of the Earth is bound together by a dense, permanent web of maritime shipping lanes, crossing every ocean. The mechanical evolution from carved logs to wide barges, outriggers, and deep wooden keels was a continuous effort to overcome the distances between isolated communities. These vessels carried the physical weight of crops and timber, but they were also the delivery vehicles for language, philosophy, and technological innovation. Our modern economy still sits on this foundation. With 90% of global trade still moving by sea, we inhabit a world that was quite literally carried to us on the hulls of ancient ships.